Welcome to the show today, and today I'm going to answer a question that someone asked in the comments. They asked me a question, and I'm going to answer it. It might be a long answer, but I'm going to answer the question. The question was, if I can remember correctly, because I'm not in the house where my laptop is, I am in our camper doing the show today. So the question was, how did I become a YouTube channel person, or how long have I been doing it, and why? I think they said, why are you on a YouTube channel and have a show? Okay, the answer is a long answer. So I'm going to start from the very beginning of when YouTube started. 2009, I think it was, around there, give or take. So I'm not going to be exactly right on the years, but I'm going to guess within a year or two of what and when and how and who and where and what, when, how, all that. 2009 YouTube started, and I, of course, had an account, Kate Nadine, Catenadine. And I'm sure some people, if they watch this, that were with Mark Smith and his counseling. He married Rinda, and they got divorced then, but that's another whole video. But we were on together, not on YouTube as YouTubers with the channel, but we had like a class on Tuesdays, I think it was, that we would all join in their live broadcast about things that were going on. So 2009, I started watching a lot of videos. I watched about the parks in Florida, the parks in California, the parks in Pennsylvania, which you know is Hershey Park. I was born and raised in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, Lebanon County, where the bologna is. And went to Hershey Park a lot. I worked there for a summer or two also, Hershey Park. And I love the place, and I just love going to parks. Our church would go to Hershey once a year. We'd save up the money, or we could purchase tickets, because that's when they still had the pavilions. Oh, that's before the park was even enclosed. So Hershey Park, when it was really old, when you just have those white tickets that we would purchase. I don't know what color. The tickets were probably different colors, but I remember a packet of white tickets when I was like 8 years old, 9 years old. And then, I was watching a lot of the park things, and I liked watching Tim Tracker, and I don't know when he started. A long time ago, I think. But anyway, I don't think it was 2009, but it was a while. I'd watch things like Adam the Woo, the Daily Woo, and things about the parks. Paging Mr. Morrow. He's not on it since 2009, but I was just watching videos. I was just a YouTuber that watched a lot of videos. So, um, when things happened to me as a kid, and age 7, age 4, age 14, and then as an adult, thinking someone loved me more than my own sisters, and she became a sister-in-law of mine, and then I would confide in her and tell her all about my jealousies and how I thought everybody cheated on each other because of my childhood, my two brothers whose wives cheated on them, things that happened in the family. My sister I babysat for, her husband cheated on her. He was an alcoholic who'd come home drunk after work, and I'd walk on eggshells. And my dad was very authoritative and strict, and he would go really yelling and screaming. And my mom yelled at us to do dishes after school if they weren't done. We were told how bad we were, and I just believed all the negative things in my family. And then whenever I did something wrong, like my teenage sisters, well, the one was a teenager that drove, and two other sisters were with me. I'm the seventh daughter, and my mom had 10 kids, and I was born when she was 40. But to make this long story short, my sisters asked to take me with shopping to a store that was like 3 miles away from our house, 3 miles, two probably. And they went somewhere in the store a couple aisles away from where I was looking at comic books. And when I saw they weren't there, I was going to walk home. At age 4, I went through that door that you could put your foot on this black thing and the door would open automatically. Magic, you know. At age 4, that's like, oh, magic. The door opens by itself. So we know now in today's world all this stuff is automatic, but I was walking home. I got about halfway there, and a lady picked me up with her husband, and they took me, when I went past my aunt's house, I yelled my cousin's name. They took me there and took me back, and there was a police officer at this door, and I was scared out of my mind, and standing on the front seat of my grandma's car, because they didn't have seatbelts back then when I was 4. That was 62 years ago. 1961. I was told by the police officer I am a bad child. Just making it short, he gave me a lecture. And my 3 sisters were crying over to the left of me. I could see them crying. I guess we were near where we parked. I don't even know what the car was or where we parked in that big parking lot. To me, it was huge anyway. They were crying their eyes out. My grandma told me I'm bad. My mom didn't even come with. She didn't drive, but she didn't even come along. No one told me why my mom didn't come along. None of them said, we are so glad you're okay and didn't get abducted or killed or run over or nothing. Nothing. I was just the bad. Then when I ate my grandpa's heart pills, they weren't watching me, apparently, at age 4. So I was sick. They called the doctor. I laid on that daybed in their living room, my grandma and grandpa, my mom's mom and dad, and because we lived at a house on the farm with them. And I was told when I threw the pills up, oh, you're lucky you threw them up. And not told we're glad you're okay or hugged or told I was loved or anything. I was just told I'm bad. And whatever bad thing I did, I spoke up. I was to be seen and not heard. I was just bad. I'd go out and play with my cats. Couldn't go places. I was too young all the time. I'd be sent with my brother that was 19 years older than me that moved home at age 25 with his 4 children. And I know my mom loved her grandchildren. My brother's oldest daughter was her first grandchild, and she loved her. I was 2 when she was born, so I was pushed aside when they moved home. And I know the boy that got treated bad too. He had rheumatic fever and was treated, like, I don't know, that he's just not, he would drink when he joined the Navy. That's another whole story about him. Probably because of childhood trauma too from his mom. And I know they have trauma because their mom was a nymphomaniac, sex addict, and she was a whore, to say the truth about it. My oldest brother's wife. She died. She was suffocated. Involuntary manslaughter, okay? That's enough to tell. I don't want to get the family upset if they're watching this. Because I am told there's people starving in the world. There's people with more troubles than you. So I don't even want to hear what you have to say about anything I was feeling. I was told to be seen and not heard. Slapped across the face when I wanted to speak up about them moving in our house with only 2 bedrooms at age 7. And I believed from then on I was worthless and a nobody. But in 2009, I became a YouTuber. I'm an adult at that time, of course, 2009, an older adult. And I don't know if YouTube actually started in 2009, but that's when I got on the internet and was on whatever the first thing was. It wasn't Facebook, but it was MySpace. I was on MySpace, and I enjoyed, putting things on there, pictures, and waiting for it to open up with the dial of the phone ringing. You know how that was. You'd hear the beep, 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 beep. It was dialing. So yeah, so I was a YouTuber, and then all this that happened with my sister-in-law being very cruel, she gathered all the information about me. Then when she was mad at me, she used it against me, but she still to this day thinks she did nothing. And it's not her fault, even if she said and did those things, that I have such a bad marriage. It's not, this is her exact words, it's not my fault, even if I said it. No, let's say it the way she said it, because it's like engraved in my mind. Even if I said and did those things, it's not my fault that your marriage is so bad. And I'm married 44 years, but I still to this day think my husband had something with her. She's good at being a jerk and a very cruel person, and she thinks she did nothing wrong just because I reacted the way I did. It's my own fault. But anyway, I was a YouTuber, and then I didn't make any videos. I didn't have a YouTube account or a YouTube channel until 2016, when I was thinking, I'll tell you right now, it was easier. It was so much easier, and life was easier. Just believing I was born crazy and that I have to conform to what people want and give in to what they want and just be a good girl, and which I was, and I would explode because I'd hold this down like they show the balloon underwater on these counseling commercials that are on the different internet channels. You hold it down for so long and then it blows. Then you hold it down again. You try to be that good little girl or that good adult woman, married woman, try and have with kids, and you don't want your kids to be crazy like you are. But I thought I was born crazy, but I didn't want them to have the childhood I had, so I was totally different with them. I made mistakes. I did things that were probably traumatizing because I left the doctor check my daughter in her private area without even him saying, that's what I'm doing next. And it scared the crap out of her. And I didn't know what to say or do because I was like fawning. There's flight, there's fight, there's fawn, and what's the other word? Freeze. So I think I froze, actually. I didn't say anything or that he did anything wrong, but that sort of traumatized her, my oldest daughter. And to this day, I'm sorry that happened. But I tried so hard to be a good mom. I tried really hard to be a good mom. And I thought I did okay. Anyway, in 2016, we had moved to Missouri because my youngest daughter married a man from Missouri. And my husband wanted to move, probably because I'm such a mess in Pennsylvania with the stuff going on there. So we moved there. And I was the happiest person in the world because I could be with my youngest grandchildren, and I loved every second of living there. And I think I miss that just a little bit, but because they moved anyway to Arkansas, so we were an hour away, but I wish I wouldn't have watched the videos I did. And then I could have just lived with being crazy. That I was born crazy. That it's in my DNA and genes, and it wasn't anything to do with not being validated or nurtured properly, or my mom with her struggles trying to be the rescuer of others. Until I was 14 in a bad car accident. It was kind of late then, but she tried really hard to validate me and love me like a mother should. And she was the greatest grandma in the world too. But she was not perfect. And when you're dead and go to heaven or hell, wherever you end up, people that talk about you at your funeral, somehow you did no wrong then, but you do. You make mistakes and you do sin, every one of us. But we need to have morals and not be like, this is the only thing we have is this life. Because this is everything. No, there has to be eternity. And we are saved by grace, and it's a gift from Jesus. So that's what I look forward to the most, is eternity and being with our Lord and Savior, Jesus. So in 2016, I watched a video by Sam Vaknin, and I watched another one by him. And he explained what happens when someone is a narcissist and has narcissistic personality. And that's when I found the answer to all the puzzle pieces. about my sister-in-law and the gaslighting, first the love bombing and then the gaslighting and then the discarding and hoovering and all that stuff. And I tried talking to people. My sister Jean, who died in 2021, I think it was August 31st or anyway of 2021, she understood and would listen to me, and she followed me. I opened up an account, and Kate Nadine, Catenadine. I deleted that though because I thought I have to conform and I shouldn't have all these videos, 200 videos about narcissism, and then my little things to try to feel better about myself, being a comic. I was trying to be funny and Mrs. McGillicuddy, and I wore a wig that my granddaughter gave me that was a pink clown wig, and I pretended I was a substitute teacher because the cruelest person that took all of my hurt, sorrows, scary things that I thought happened to everyone because as a kid I grew up around infidelity and cheating and adultery, and I thought everybody does that. And there's a lot going on. It does go on a lot, and kids are molested and kids are abused, and then they have trauma for the rest of their life. I was never molested, but I was told to be seen and not heard, and that my troubles are nothing because there's so many people that have bad things. And I try my best on jobs, but people are people and they don't want to be the bad, so they're cutthroats and everything else. And I'd end up quitting jobs. I'd always find a job because a lot of people even said, my one boss, Mr. Zimmerman, he's been dead a few years now too. And Mr. Keener liked me a lot too. I was a worker, but when I was young and dumb, I did dumb things. But I don't, nothing with Mr. Keener, but some of my coworkers. But anyway, my one boss, Mr. Zimmerman, said, I wish I could clone you because you work so hard. You do such a good job. Yeah, I do. I'm a people pleaser. I'm a codependent, all that. I try to do the best because I want everyone to like me. And not everyone's going to like you. That's impossible. And it was black and white with me too. Yeah, mental health issues, big time. I thought if you didn't like me, then you hated me and you put me down, then either people are good or they're bad. No, there's gray. There's gray. But wasn't taught this. I wasn't taught about emotions. I wasn't taught that people die. When my grandma Walmer died, when I was about 5, they took me to this big fancy building, and there was Grandma Walmer, and I thought she was sleeping in a bed, that it was just a fancy lacy bed. I tried to climb up, and I was told, no, 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 you can't do that. I'm like, why? Grandma's sleeping. No, she actually died, I'm told, in a trauma situation like that. Anyway, so in 2016, I found Sam Vakinin, and shortly after, I found Richard Grannon and Lisa Romanoff. I think it's Romanoff. And Ross. I just looked at one of his videos last night. Ross Rosenberg. And I knew this was all the puzzle pieces. I try to tell my one sister that doesn't believe things about me, that I make this up, that I'm just a spoiled brat and I wanted what I wanted. And I was so spoiled that I just actually born crazy. I'm just born crazy. So I try to talk. Well, I talk about it a lot because the truth, it sets you free. But just don't talk about it is what I got. And then when I tried to talk to her again, like last summer at the family reunion, that my sister-in-law didn't even have a tombstone up for her husband yet because my other brother-in-law told me there's no tombstone yet. I just wanted to talk to someone about it and confirm that she's a heartless piece. Well, no, don't say all that. She's heartless. It probably was still being made though, but that's none of my business anymore. But I still think my husband loves her because of her actions. And actions speak louder than words. You can say all kinds of stuff, but how you act to me and treat me is what I see. So my sister said, when I said about that, my brother-in-law, my husband's younger brother that died at age 60, didn't even have a tombstone yet. she just snapped that it's none of my business. So yeah, that's what I always get. And it's her business if it's about me and my husband. If my husband died, it would be that I drove him crazy, and he died because he had a severe heart attack and died because you are so crazy and you drove him nuts. But the precious one, the enablers, her flying monkeys, that she's so charming and so nice to them, she's never did anything to me, will still say, it's just you, Kate, Nadine. It's just you, Catherine. You were born crazy. So I found these videos, like I said, Sam Vaknin, about narcissistic traits or things that people do, and then the personality disorder, which he has, Sam Vaknin has and deals with his life. Then he just has to do stuff like have a partner and then do the same thing as he did with his mother. You know, she treated him bad, so he didn't like her, or whatever the whole story is about that. Watch his videos and watch Sam Vaknin, and watch, if you're interested, Richard Grannon and Ross Rosenberg and Lisa Romanoff. There's others too. Oh, so I find the answers, but yet no one wants to hear it. And when I talk about my childhood, then the family's all upset because a 38-year-old niece of mine, great niece, because it's my niece's, the oldest niece in the family, the first grandchild of my mother, her daughter, had to hear that her grandma was a nymphomaniac at age 38. I knew this at age 12. I had to hear all about this. So, I was still the bad crazy. And I think when you're the scapegoat in the family, you're going to always be the scapegoat. Although my other sister Jean was too sometimes. Not the favorites. My mom had favorites. No one's going to tell me that's not true. And if they say we're all raised the same, I just laugh now because her favorite was the oldest boy. And my sister Peg, well, I said her name, but she has Alzheimer's now. And she's going to have whatever you get in heaven because she put up with the husband who was an alcoholic, who mistreated her, who cheated on her, who hit her, who choked her, and she stayed married to him over 50 years. He died like a year ago, and now she could maybe have some good times at her age in her 80s, but now she doesn't know everything. She remembers some things, like who she dated as a teenager, but she just doesn't know. She knows I'm her sister when I saw her this summer, but I just don't want to be around my whole family, and that's the truth. And my daughter, I'm the oldest one I live with now. I love her, and I love my youngest daughter, and I just wish I would just be living that I'm crazy and not know the truth of what happened as a kid to you and how your childhood, actually the first 5, 6, 7 years of your life. Listen to Sam Vaknin. It is the truth. It all clicked. It all, puzzle pieces all fit. So I had a YouTube account, Kate Nadine, Catnadine, and I had friends on here, a lot of, probably around 150 that subscribed, and we were all listening to the stuff. And then Mark Smith's the family tree counseling, if you want to listen to any of his videos, because he was also traumatized by his girlfriend that he was dating. His first wife left him though, but his childhood was a mess. So I did all these videos, over 200, and then when I thought I had to conform, I shouldn't have an account, I deleted everything. Now, at that time, as soon as you made videos, they monetized, and I had made $1.11, I think. After being on about 6, 8 months, I finally was, I guess, having the ads. They call it earn now instead of monetize. But I was going to counseling. I went like 8 months, and all kinds of stuff was happening in my life. And my husband, I screamed at him that he loved his brother. His brother was still alive, the 60-year-old. He was only in his mid-50s then. that he loved him more and he loved his wife more than me. And I went back to counseling. He went with me. And our marriage was saved and helped, but I wasn't by the counseling there in Missouri. Then I went again, like 2 years later, and the counselor just wanted to string it along. And I know that book that is called, it's a green book, and I can't think of the name of it. Dialectable, whatever, help me. Dialectable something book that talked to you and you answer questions about how to react logically, because I was reacting. I had, my emotions were, I don't know the right word now for that, but anyway, I would hold stuff down, and then months after it happened, I say nothing to anybody for months and months and even years, and then I'd explode and I'd be the crazy because of my reaction. And I'm trying to be, because I know reaction is important, to react logically and rationally. I try to tell my daughter, I thought our agreement, well, I know our agreement was that I would have a kitchenette, but that didn't happen. They had with all the, everything crazy, the year she bought this house, it's been about a year and a half now, year and 3 months, everybody wanted to buy everything up, and the house with the kitchen, with the apartment for my husband and I above the garage, the floor was weak, and the 3 bathrooms needed remodeled. But here she had to remodel the whole bathroom because the shower was falling down. But, and I understand that it was her daughter needing to get out of the big city, the capital city of Alabama. Montgomery and Prattville is perfect for them. But I just felt like it didn't matter about me. Once again, I need to talk to my daughter about that too. But anyway, I thought after not being on about a year, I thought, I am allowed to have a YouTube account. I am allowed to talk. And if you watch my very first video, that's when I started it. I started the show Allowed to Talk, and I love to sing and dance, and I'm a roller skater from the 70s, and I'm average at all that, but roller skating I was pretty good at. Singing, dancing, playing piano. I never got real good at playing piano. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. So, jack of all trades, master of none. So I started this YouTube account, and I've been going on since. There's commercials on my videos, but I'm not earning yet. And I am crazy because I want to earn enough to get a house or build onto this one so I can have my kitchenette. I am crazy. Mental health issues. I think we all have something. But just because someone has something bigger than mine doesn't mean mine are null and void and nothing. So I am allowed to talk, and that's why I started this YouTube channel. And I want to thank you for watching my videos, liking my videos, and subscribing. And I am crazy. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and that you just keep singing and dancing.